the starting lineup for your Fort Wayne FC. In goal, number 1, Joe Bowles. Out on the field, number 3, Noe Garcia. Number 6 is Will Harris. Number 11, Zach Tom. 21, Jose Rodriguez. 22, Dylan Shockey. Number 26, Tyler Gaynor. 30 is Grayson Duty. 32, Reno Oliveria. Number 42, Joel Harvey. And number 43, Logan Lee. Our referees for today's match: in the center, Nabil Bensala. At AR number 1, Jaron Harrell. At AR number 2, Daniel Tinky. Our fourth official, Randy Smith. Athletic trainings for today's match are provided by OPS.
Everybody Every day I'm shuffling.
Step up fast. I'll be the first gonna make me for this cash. We getting money, don't be mad, now stop. Hating is bad.
Microphone check 1 2 3 4 5. Microphone check 1 2 3 4 5. This is a review test. Review test.
Audio is good. Okay, that one thing, the thing that says
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Remove any hats you may be wearing for the national anthem sung by Fort Wayne Councilman Tom Didier.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets right by the bombs were singing our gay route through the night.
Please be seated and enjoy the match.
Hello and welcome to what we're calling the St. Joe Derby. Fort Wayne FC taking on the South Bend Lions. We are your commentators for today. I'm Caleb Saylor. Joining me is the Ken Harkenrider. If you're a Fort Wayne soccer buff, you probably know who this man is, so no need for an introduction. Today ended up actually being a beautiful day for soccer. I thought it was going to be a little bit too hot out there, but clouds have come over. It's been shaping up pretty well.
We've been really fortunate this whole season, Caleb, to get some nice weather, and the breeze kicked up a little bit, so I think it's going to be a perfect day for some soccer. Yeah,
and hopefully Fort Wayne FC can eke out their first league win. They're just below South Bend in the table. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. A win will put Fort Wayne FC level on points with South Bend, so hopefully the first W for them in league play.
Yeah, we're all anxiously awaiting that first W, and I'm sure time will tell, but you know, with each passing game, they've done a nice job putting together a really solid squad. So I'm sure that's sooner than later we're going to get that W.
Yeah, it has to happen at some point. So we got the first kick now. South Bend Lions trying to play their way out of the back. Will Harris tried to play a long ball in for the Fort Wayne FC midfielders out wide. Ball given away by Fort Wayne FC there.
Yeah, just a little bit lackadaisical there on that early touch in the back. I was about to comment how nice and aggressive they were defending up front. And then they play that ball back and kind of waited just a little long to put a play on it. So.
Yeah, it was good for, I believe, Logan Lee to get in there and just poke that ball away off to safety. I'm not sure it is a corner. I thought it was a throw-in, but, you know, we've got a lot of obstructions up here. Logan Lee once again pokes away the ball for Fort Wayne FC to get them into the attack.
Yeah, Logan's been a real workhorse for him on the minutes he's been on the field these last couple of matches. So looks like he's off to another strong day so far.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that from him for the rest of the season too. I mean, from what, like you mentioned, what we've seen for the first couple of games, I mean, he is working his tail off box to box, trying to get that ball back any chance he can.
And it's so important just to have that level of disruption. You know, we talked about that last week, that you know, it kept the opponent from being able to really mount an organized attack. So that disruption is important and huge in terms of keeping the ball at our feet.
And it feels like Coach Avery is starting to settle into a preferred core group of guys, 5 or 6 people who are constantly, their name is on that team sheet every single time. And people like Logan Lee, you've got Will Harris back there, and, Joe Bowles in goal.
Oh, this is...
That was one of the newcomers chasing the ball down there. Grayson Duty, you know a little bit more about him than I do, correct?
Yeah, he's coming out of the West Coast, and we chatted a little bit, John and I, last week about the soccer community and across the country is really only 2 to 3 degrees of separation, and it's a coach that Mike Avery's crossed paths with, who has worked with Duty and kind of made that connection, and he was able to land here for the summer. So that's really a good sign for Fort Wayne. Plays his college ball at UCLA.
Good tackle there by Harris. Fort Wayne giving away a couple of those early passes in the midfield, which is not something you necessarily want early on in the game.
No, definitely not. You got to tighten it up coming from the back here.
And if you're watching on the YouTube stream, let us know where you're watching from, and make sure to share the link with your friends and family who haven't been able to make it out to the match today. And let us know as well if you're having audio issues or things like that. We'll try to correct those as well. We're trying to smooth things out as we go along this season. So it's never perfect. It's always an improvement. So just let us know.
Yeah, it's been so much fun as well, Caleb, through the early games of this season. The vibe here at Shields Field.
Will Harris has gone down with a non-contact injury, holding his knee. He cleared that ball away, that drop pass back, and I wonder if he just jammed his foot into the turf, maybe locking up his knee.
That certainly is one of the challenges of playing on this artificial surface is you don't have as much give as you do on natural turf, and sometimes the old body parts don't go where they're supposed to.
And I believe, I forget who I was speaking to off camera a couple of weeks ago about this, is, there's research out there that shows, playing on turf for some sports is a little bit harder on the joints and more ACL tears and things like that, a little less forgiving than your natural surfaces.
And
so
they've made huge progress in the last 10 to 15 years, and I'm not going to date myself by telling you the turf I played on, but it was basically concrete with some indoor-outdoor carpet laid across the top of it. So most of the folks of my generation have knees and backs that ache to show for it. So yeah, this synthetic surface is way improved over those, but still not as good as the real thing in terms of being able to get good solid footing and a little bit of give. But it looks like he's up and moving around, so that's good.
That's good.
That's good, yeah.
You don't want to have to make that replacement too early, and especially for somebody like Will Harris, who's probably one of the first names Mike Avery's writing down every single week.
I was just going to say he's definitely on that list you just mentioned, for sure.
Early going, it seems like Fort Wayne can't get South Bend out of their defensive third. South Bend keeps trying to knock balls in, and Fort Wayne just knocks it away, and then it comes right back at them. They need to really start to get something moving forward to try to break that attack. Joe Bowles looking to go long here.
I started to mention earlier when Will Harris went down, but great vibe here at Shields Field. The fans who've come out to support this Fort Wayne FC squad have really brought the energy, and it's a really good positive feel here at the stadium. Logan Lee back up on his feet. Glad to see that after being taken down pretty hard from the back.
And if you're just joining us, we're in the 9th minute of the match. 0-0, no shots on goal. South Bend has had, I guess, marginally better attacking than Fort Wayne FC, although neither team's really threatened either of the opponent's goals.
Yeah, a lot of loose play on both sides, actually, so far. You know, they're case in point right there, just a real sloppy touch to let the ball roll out of play. See if Fort Wayne can get some sustained possession here, settle in a little bit, get the ball forward.
Good move by Joel Harvey there to get away from that South Bend defender. And we apologize you guys can't see the score bug up there in the corner. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties that we're trying to work out. So we'll try to update you when we can, even when there's been no changes to score. Good defensive effort by Fort Wayne FC there to try to get that ball away. South Bend seems to be just a bit quicker than quite a few of the Fort Wayne FC players, which I think is starting to get them in trouble a little bit. And notice Rodriguez there in the middle was outpaced by a South Bend player. Which is not something you want to see.
Across the back line, we're given a little more space than we'd really like to as well.
Free kick for South Bend here.
Yeah, really a dangerous spot too, right center of the field, so kind of take it either direction. They got a lot of bodies up front.
Never going to bother the goalkeeper with that one. Bowles is away. And just a little too much sauce for Noe Garcia there, but he was on it. That was impressive for Bowles to spot that outlet to get it that far up the field.
Yeah, and you know, South Bend, as I mentioned, had a lot of bodies forward, so that potentially could have been a really nice opportunity. He could have, Garcia could have corralled that ball in. And
decent attempt over the top there by South Bend. And South Bend are doing well to move that ball around the top of the box as well to try to penetrate, not necessarily rush, but try to find that opening in the Fort Wayne FC defense.
yeah, number 16, Junior Nair for South Bend, has had the ball on his foot quite a bit, and he's creative and clever enough with that ball. As you say, he's composed and not rushing anything, and it really is exploiting the spaces that Fort Wayne defenders are allowing there. So love to see them tighten that down just a little bit.
Good ball in by South Bend. Unfortunately, nobody there for them. And I'm not sure if that was a miscommunication from Bowles or what it was, whether he didn't see that runner backside. But you talked about, Ken, Fort Wayne FC giving those South Bend players a little bit more space across the back than they should. That was a prime example there. That runner far side probably shouldn't, ideally, have gotten on the end of that pass.
No, that's exactly right. And again, a little bit of that is the respect, as you mentioned. They're a little bit quicker, and you know, they've got the fast feet moving, and so you got to respect that. On the other hand, you want to close that space down so they don't have so much time to receive and turn and do things. Oh, that wasn't off by much.
You missed it. There was an offside call there on Fort Wayne FC. They pushed the ball up the field fairly quickly. Unfortunately, Noe Garcia was just offsides on that pass. A good ball there by South Bend. Ooh. Good save by Bowles.
Comes up big again.
I think I may have missed what the impetus of that was, whether the South Bend player went and studs up.
Yeah, that I think in the opinion of the official, not really trying to make a play on the ball, just taking a swipe, and I think it's the right call. There've been 2 or 3 hits. You know, the one Logan Lee absorbed a few minutes ago. They've had 2 or 3 of those, so I think probably good timing on trying to get some of that under control.
Yeah. And going back to that Bowles save, that's something DeMarcus Beasley and I talked about in the first match. And that's a player who's, despite the score lines that we've seen for a couple of our matches, has been doing that consistently, game in, game out, making some of those big saves that is more or less saving Fort Wayne FC from having a lopsided score line in some of these matches.
Well, and not only that, even you know, keeping them in. You know, a match like right now, it's 0-0. That keeps us in there, and you know,
good cross there by Garcia.
You definitely look for your keeper to come up big once or twice a game like that to keep you in it, and certainly Joe Bowles has been up to the challenge. Boy, that was a world-class save on that one.
Throw in here for Fort Wayne FC. Logan Lee did well to get around to the first defender, but just didn't make the move quick enough on the second one. And now South Bend's away. Good tackle there by Dylan Shockey. Just to help provide cover for that backside defender. Good ball there by Fort Wayne FC out of the back. It doesn't work every time, but when you notice that your goalkeeper's that far off the line, or the opposing goalkeeper is, you've got a chance to put them in an awkward position. South Bend player there doing well to hang on to the ball for them. South Bend working their way up the field. That last pass just too far for them. But they're doing well, especially that defensive midfielder doing well to hang on to the ball and try to direct some of the traffic for South Bend.
Yeah, you know, Caleb, the one downside to playing those long direct balls from the back for Fort Wayne is, you bypass the midfield and, that last ball. And here again, right, you see we kind of get extended, have a single striker or player or two up front, and kind of get that spacing in between. So really, long term, working the midfield into the attack is a much preferred sort of attack. So
yeah, like you mentioned, you don't want to do it every time. That's for sure. You don't want to keep your midfield standing around and bypass them. Good overlapping run by South Bend here. And you've got two defenders not even approaching one of the South Bend attackers there. And that's what you talked about. Just they're giving them probably a little more respect than what's been earned of the South Bend players.
yeah, much more measured attack here with this possession. Got several players.
And that's Logan Lee.
Yeah, he took a couple of contact points there. I think we might have been well served by a whistle there. But
yeah, he did well to stay on his feet the best he could, but
yeah, maybe played against his own best interest there by staying on his feet. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes as you know, sometimes you get those calls, sometimes you don't.
Logan Lee, of course, a Fort Wayne product, grew up here and played with us out at Canterbury for a couple of seasons before going down to the DA in Indianapolis.
Penalty called here in favor of South Bend. Referee saying that the Fort Wayne FC player tripped him up in the box, which from our distance kind of hard to tell. It didn't look like he got all the ball. So unfortunate for Fort Wayne FC to give a penalty away so early, the 21st minute. David Garcia for South Bend looks like he's going to be the one taking this penalty. Number 7 for South Bend earned it by that weaving run past 2 or 3 Fort Wayne FC players before what the referee says eventually getting tripped up.
Now see if Joe Bowles can come up big again here for Fort Wayne FC. Bit of a crapshoot here from the goalkeeper's perspective, from the penalty spot.
See what he can do here. Ooh. Well taken penalty by David Garcia for South Bend, putting the South Bend Lions up 1-0 over Fort Wayne FC now in the 23rd minute. Sometimes as a goalkeeper, you've just got to guess
You know, at this level, it really is just about picking a side and going with it, and still takes a high level of athleticism even at that, even if you do guess the right direction.
Yeah. You know, and
well, that is unfortunate, but we'll see if that doesn't spur Fort Wayne on to pick up their pace a little bit.
And they spent quite a few minutes down there before the goal in the attacking third, Fort Wayne FC did, so they're getting a little bit more on the front foot here. Taking some of that momentum away from South Bend they were before that penalty happened. Throw in here for Fort Wayne FC. South Bend wins the ball back in midfield. Easy call there for a foul. Oliveira just getting his feet tangled up with the South Bend player. Through ball there from South Bend, unsuccessful. Looks like Will Harris is able to body the South Bend player off the ball to allow Bowles to come and collect it. Rodriguez doing well, looking up, finding the Fort Wayne player in Zach Tom, and Tom doing the same for Tyler Gaynor. Gaynor probably would have served better as taking a touch up the line versus a settling touch. Just try to use that speed to get to the end line there. Good long ball here by South Bend. Nice save there by Bowles. James Stone was on the shot there for South Bend. And you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Ken, that Fort Wayne would do well to work through their midfield, and they're finally started to do that over the past 10 minutes or so. It looks like they're trying to actually work their midfielder into the attack.
They are, and I was just going to mention before, right before he lost the ball, but Breno Oliveira coming through the midfield there and might have done better just to hold that ball. He tried to play that, took a touch or two and then tried to play it right deep into the attacking third, and, it might have been better served to.
Good goal.
That's a great individual effort.
That was a good ball in there by Logan Lee. Tough for Noe Garcia to get on the end of that shot, but he's able to make something happen. That goalkeeper was kind of left in no man's land there in that awkward spot of what to do, and Noe Garcia was able to bury the goal to level things 1-1 with South.
Make something out of almost nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a nice ball in, but he didn't have much space to work with.
No, and he did the similar thing now that he did in the first match where he scored his goal. He was able to muscle off those defenders, and he's not the largest guy in the world, but he's able to muscle off those defenders and make something happen.
Yeah.
And that's something you want to see out of a forward in Fort Wayne FC.
That is one of the things about soccer, Caleb, that, sometimes having that lower center of gravity actually helps to be able to get a better position around the ball and be able to hold that defender off a little bit more effectively. So that's exactly what Noe Garcia was able to do, and good for Fort Wayne FC. Pull it even.
So what you're watching now, we're having a halftime water break. We're in the 27th minute of the first half. Noe Garcia just buried one past the South Bend goalkeeper to level things up 1-1 with South Bend. South Bend scored a penalty in about the 20th minute after an attacking player got tripped up in the box. It's definitely hot down there. I mentioned this on my Twitter feed a little bit ago, a couple hours. Playing on turf on hot days is not fun. You're at the surface of the turf, you're probably experiencing a temperature of 20 to 40 degrees higher than the actual air temperature. So with the actual air temperature being 80, I mean, it's definitely hot down there on the turf.
Absolutely. I was going to say that's just another byproduct of this artificial surface. And, thankfully we've got a little bit of cloud cover, so that's going to help with that. But still, as you mentioned, it's going to be significant increase in the temperature at field level. So even at this level of play, you got to watch, take care of the players' health and give them a chance here to catch your breath and catch a little bit of water so they don't dehydrate. So a good move. That's at the discretion of the officials. So that's a good move. Make sure everybody remains healthy and improve the level of play across the game.
Yeah, and I would fully expect Mike Avery and actually the South Bend team as well to maybe have a day off tomorrow after playing in heat like this, or maybe a lighter practice to look forward to on Monday.
Well, and certainly with the 2-game weekend for Fort Wayne, having just come off the game on Friday evening, so it's, 2 games in under 48 hours is a tall order, regardless.
Yeah, and they'll need
that heat.
They'll need their energy for this coming weekend as well. They've got 3 matches, 11th, 12th, and 13th. I do believe the 12th and 13th are home games here at Shields Field, and we'll have more information on kickoff of those matches coming up a little bit later on.
And not totally unexpected here in mid-June in northern Indiana, but it's going to look like it's going to be in the 80-plus range the entire week. So, to that point, though, the players do acclimate and begin to get used to the temperatures a little bit. We had a bit of up and down temperature scales here for the month of May, but, once they get used to playing in this more regularly, they get acclimated.
Yeah. South Bend, good sequence of play there. There was a long ball up to James Stone, who then played it back to the outside midfielder, who was able to fire a shot in, both saving it comfortably. If you're just joining us, it's Fort Wayne FC 1, South Bend Lions 1. We're in the 31st minute of the first half. Good switch ball there by South Bend. Good individual effort there to get get through the Fort Wayne player. Unfortunately, choosing the wrong option for South Bend.
It occurs to me the last 2 times South Bend has come, another one of those come in from behind.
Yeah.
See, I'm pleased the official showed the yellow card a little earlier, but again, those are the kind of tackles you want to eliminate from the game.
And there's been a number of times, number 4 for South Bend, the goal scorer, I believe, David James, he's been on the back fairly hard of Noe Garcia, and it's almost to a point where he's climbing over the top of him. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens 1 or 2 more times, another yellow card comes out.
Yeah, and over the course of time, that really has an impact. I mentioned that earlier about that element of disruption, and so now if you're forcing that player to think twice before he touches the ball because he's planning on having that contact from behind, it just allows for that extra level of distraction and disruption. But what I started to say there before the whistle blew is, in addition to his spectacular saving skills, Joe Bowles just really dominates that space in the back where any of those balls coming through, he steps up quickly and aggressively, and he's physically big and strong, so he really dominates that space and makes it difficult for South Bend to to play those penetrating balls in with any effectiveness.
Yeah, he you know, for I believe 6'2", 6'3". I mean, even then he's a pretty thick, you know, large presence back there in the goal. So like you mentioned, even then it forces South Bend to think twice about what option they're going to take. Throw in here for Fort Wayne. Back to Will Harris. South Bend doing well to win that ball back, and having not really knowing, seems like number 2 for South Bend and number 7, they've probably played together once or twice. They seem to have a good connection out here on the right side.
Well, and you know, going all the way back to the early moments of this match this afternoon, Caleb, you mentioned Coach Avery kind of finally settling into having the solid core of names listed every game. You know, he would have hoped to have had that a bit sooner. You know, there's some behind-the-scenes paperwork issues, but also just, you know, allowing players to kind of rise up to the level of earning that spot on the field each match. So, oh boy.
Poor choice there by Harris, trying to play that ball with that attacker coming in real quick. Fortunately, number 22, Dylan Shockey, was able to clear that ball away after the deflection. Now we've got a long ball over to Noe Garcia, who referee flags for offsides, and it didn't look like by much, but we're in the wrong position to be calling that.
To finish my thought, the idea of having the same players in the lineup game after game, you get a little bit of that rapport, right? You mentioned the players from South Bend obviously having played together, and you know, you're collecting a roster here from lots and lots of different places. We mentioned Duty coming in from the West Coast just on Wednesday, so he's been here a total of 5 days, right? And so now you're out there trying to make connection and create those relationships with the players around you on the field, and it just takes some time. There's no shortcut to that, and so I'm sure Coach Avery is excited to kind of settle in and you know, use the remainder of the season to create those playing connections.
And he also, don't want to speak out of turn for Mike Avery, but he's also looking at 33 individual players day in, day out, and so you want to see what some of those players are actually able to do in game time scenarios.
Absolutely.
South Bend doing well to work the ball up the field here. Good ball there by Jose Rodriguez, the captain for Fort Wayne FC. Unfortunately, Grayson Duty not able to bring it down.
That's a good quick ball forward on that.
And that's
Joel
something.
Harvey, and he's winning it again. Yes. Nice to keep it in the attacking end.
That was good vision there by Zach Tom to find Grayson Duty out there wide. Fort Wayne doing well to hold on to that ball, and that's something that can break down that defense too, is playing quickly through the midfield. So not just involving the midfield, but playing quickly through it. That was something that was really starting to pin back South Bend there in that sequence.
No, it's one of those chicken and egg arguments, right? Where if you bypass your midfield, and now the defenders are able to settle in that back line and kind of close things down, whereas you kind of coax them out of that space. And what we just saw there, that ball from Harvey up to Garcia, right? By playing the ball through that midfield, now it opens that up. So you can make that quick play.
Free kick here for Fort Wayne. Imagine you have to find Will Harris here. Will Harris at the back post and just a little bit over hit, but that seems to be a theme for Fort Wayne FC.
And why wouldn't it be,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Why wouldn't it be? You have a player like Harris available to you, big and strong, and finds just the right lane there in front of the goal. Of course, the hero a week ago is he put that ball in stoppage time to allow Fort Wayne FC to pull that point from that match.
Yeah, and he did that a couple of times this past season as well at Indiana Tech for the Warriors.
Well, you mentioned Indiana Tech, and what a great season they've had, and great program history over there at Indiana Tech. But a couple of the players that we've put on this roster for Fort Wayne FC really have provided a lot of the spark thus far for the first couple of matches.
And I can't tell if he's on the bench or not, but a player I think I would like to see in the second half would be Max Amawako.
Absolutely.
He scored 2 goals for Fort Wayne FC, the Indiana Tech product. It looks like that's him on the end of the bench, although the training kit numbers and the actual numbers don't necessarily match.
Well, and he was on the list we were provided for Joe Bowles again. Nice
Good
save.
Good shot and good save there by Joe Bowles. I think
so. Yeah, Max is on the list of 18, so we may yet see him in a
good move there
nice
by Noe
run.
Garcia.
Still in possession. See if we can make some. Oh, that's not far.
That was good vision there by Noe Garcia. It looked like just for a second he wanted to take a second bite at that, and most of the time Will Harris is probably the biggest man out there, but he's matched up pretty well with South Bend's James Stone. It's the player who's marking him actually. Just as big. Just wide for Fort Wayne FC. I didn't see who got on the end of that there. Looked like Dylan Shockey, although not entirely. Corner cleared out by South Bend, but only as far as Rodriguez, who takes a second hit.
2 really good looks for Rodriguez there, but
ooh, good individual play by Garcia, who's he's trying to make the right move there by playing that ball across the goal to his attacking counterparts. Unfortunately, wasn't able to thread the needle there.
that's really good composure from several of the Fort Wayne FC players, though. In that attacking space just in front of the goal, we got a lot of bodies up, and this is a pretty sustained goal front pressure here for Fort Wayne. And again, the ball played in, just a bit too high.
And you mentioned Rodriguez, 2 really good shots there. That takes some skill off, no touch, no bounce, just a volley it out of the air towards the goal. And both of those shots were on frame as well.
That really is, and that's one of the most spectacular goals you'll see at all levels of soccer around the world. Is you catch it just right, boy. You can embarrass yourself, and we used to joke about that back in the day.
And I've done that once or twice.
The Scud missile, where you have no idea where it's destined, but you catch it just right, and boy, it's spectacular. So, and Rodriguez did. He really made good strike of the ball on both of those. See if Logan Lee can make something happen here.
Good battle there to get that
and
ball.
Yes, he does. And
that's
the whistle. Yeah,
that's what we were talking about earlier. Those South Bend defenders just all over the back of Fort Wayne FC players. And
credit to Logan Lee for running all the way through that ball to put himself in that position where the defender had to make that choice to take him down. So now again a nice opportunity for Fort Wayne. Again, they've had 4 or 5 minutes of pretty sustained pressure here, so let's see if we can get one just before halftime.
Yeah, try to take that momentum into the second half. I'm just wondering if Fort Wayne maybe doesn't try something here a little bit different, maybe a short pass. It doesn't look like Oliveira's looking towards that short pass. It looks like he's looking towards goal here. Ooh, good shot there by Breno Oliveira. Good save by the goalkeeper there, just to punch it over the top of the bar. Once again, if you're just joining us, Fort Wayne FC 1, South Bend 1. We're in the 44th minute of the first half. Fort Wayne FC getting ready to take a corner kick. Ball's away. Oh. And that was a good header there by, I believe,
Grayson Duty, I believe, he found his way to that ball. Again, a lot of traffic there in that space, but did well to get to it. Just not quite enough ability to place it where he wanted.
Hopeful ball over the top there by South Bend.
And it's good to see Fort Wayne FC has settled into a bit of a rhythm here, and they've had, had the ball up in at least the middle third, if not the attacking third, for a good portion of the last 8 or 10 minutes. So that's really, really good. And we've got a South Bend player down on the far sideline.
Got number 7 for South Bend.
Allowing play to continue since they're in possession. Yep, and now he's
just
getting back up. It looks like 16 to me, Junior Nair. Not sure exactly what happened there, but he was down.
I think he just collided with either Grayson Duty or Zach Tom over there. Nothing malicious in it. Just sometimes you take a little bit harder knock than others.
So we have arrived at halftime. Let's see, we've had no indication just yet. And there's the sign, 3 minutes of
3 minutes extra time.
And this is a good time for Fort Wayne to just be getting into the match as well and maybe make something happen in these last 3 minutes.
Has been a very productive period of play through the last several matches. That extra time, as we call it, stoppage time, including, as we mentioned already, the Will Harris equalizer a week ago, coming in the minutes after the final 90th minute.
Missed in that lead up there. Logan Lee took a pretty hard hit from a South Bend player unwillingly. It looked like the South Bend player ran into Logan Lee on purpose without the ball. So I'm not sure if the referee saw it, but Logan Lee was down on the ground for quite a few seconds there after that hit. South Bend, I would argue, probably been the more physical team of the two, but in terms of advantage, I think it goes 50-50. Sometimes South Bend has had the advantage, sometimes Fort Wayne FC has had the advantage. South Bend just trying to work the ball up the field, trying not to give it away in these last couple of minutes. You definitely don't want to concede a goal at this point. Good ball there by Oliveira. Unfortunately, the bounce off the turf was a little too much for Garcia to try to bring that ball down.
Yeah, a little bit more lead on that ball. Maybe he could have outrun that defender and had a nice opportunity. He's had at least one goal this season on that similar sort of a ball delivered long. So.
And that's the halftime whistle here at Shields Field. Fort Wayne FC 1, South Bend 1. South Bend's goal coming on a penalty kick in about the 20th minute. Fort Wayne FC's goal coming from Noe Garcia, battling off two defenders to fire it past the South Bend goalkeeper. We're all square here at halftime. Make sure to stay tuned. For halftime, we'll have an interview with Fort Wayne FC co-owner Eric Magner, so stay tuned.
Okay, and welcome back here. We're at halftime. We're all square at 1 apiece with the South Bend Lions and Fort Wayne FC. We are absolutely pleased to welcome to our microphones here this afternoon President and co-owner of Fort Wayne FC, Dr. Eric Magner. Welcome aboard.
Hi, Ken. How are you doing?
Oh, we're really great, and appreciate you taking a few minutes from your really
Sure.
busy game day schedules. I know you're running around. Got your hands in pretty much every piece of the action here on game day, and we appreciate those efforts. Maybe talk a little bit for us about starting such an endeavor from scratch. We're seeing the results of what I'm assuming is not only months and months, but even years of vision and energy and motivation. Talk a little bit about your starting point on that of the idea and how you've brought it all into fruition.
Sure. I mean, a couple of years ago we thought about organizing more organized soccer. We believe Fort Wayne is ready for professional soccer. Obviously, this is now the pre-professional stage where we are. Over the next 2 years, hopefully we can start building our stadium now downtown, and hopefully we can then move into our full professional soccer, USL1 or even higher in the future. So we're excited about this one, and it's a lot of hard work, but I can tell you, I want to thank all the volunteers that we have here. We have so many volunteers, and we have a lot of interns, sports management interns here from the university, so all helping out.
Well, and you know, you read my mind. I didn't show you my my list with questions, but that's where I was headed. Is clearly one of the most impressive pieces of this whole operation is the collaboration, and you've drawn folks from every facet of Fort Wayne and the soccer community. Talk a little bit about that, how you've managed to pull all those forces together, sometimes competing forces even, who are all kind of pulling together to make this a success.
Of course, I think that is a big surprise actually to me too. I mean, there's so many people who reach out to us who want to help, and so we ended up with a very large volunteer force that we can draw from. We have also a lot of volunteers and youth players from local sports clubs that are helping us being ball retrievers and player escorts. So it's just wonderful. I think a great support here from Fort Wayne.
That is great, and maybe turning your focus toward the future. You mentioned not quite where you want to be just yet. It's been, you know, we're still looking for that first win, which will be exciting, but you know, very strong foundation, strong start, good support here at Shields Field as well as online. But talk a little bit about your hopes for the next year or two as far as really moving up the ladder into that full professional level.
Sure. I mean, this year was, of course, a difficult start because of the colleges moving their last year post schedule in the spring, made it very difficult for us to find you know, very good players. I mean, the other teams have the same, but we see already that we are getting better every game, and this game coming up today is huge. So we're building on that foundation, and then we want to hopefully in the next 1 or 2 years, you know, really being a force in our division within the USL 2, and that gets us ready to play USL 1 within the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and you know, again, on that issue of youth sport, I know we've got a lot of local youth teams playing in the state cup finals today. If I'm not mistaken, more than we've ever had in the history of Fort Wayne. We've got a good soccer legacy here in Fort Wayne, and kudos to you for pulling a lot of those forces together. And again, appreciate you taking a few minutes here to share those thoughts, and best of luck as this season moves forward.
That's great. Thank you so much. And then also, yeah, again, I agree with you. There is soccer is huge here in Fort Wayne. I see it on the very successful youth teams and clubs. So I think we are, you know, building soccer here. We're doing it all together with everybody.
Well, and you know, there's an old saying I love to quote: is begin with the end in mind. And boy, so far the beginning and the foundations have been really strong. So congratulations to you, and now get back to work. We got a second half to win.
Very well. That's great.
Right.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks.
Bye.
the South Bend Lions. Number 15, Milo Yosef is now on the...
And welcome back to the second half of the St. Joe Derby. Fort Wayne FC hosting the South Bend Lions. The score currently 1-1 apiece. Just one change to note for Fort Wayne FC. Logan Lee has come off, and in replace of him is Pep Casas, number 10, in the middle there. Logan Lee probably earned a break after the half that he put in. He was on the field a lot. He was getting banged up. He was fighting for every ball out there, so I'm not surprised to see him subbed.
Yeah, he always makes the most of the minutes he gets, that's for sure, and I'm glad to see him get the starting nod today.
And I think only one change for South Bend, is that correct? Yeah, just one. Yeah. The change for South Bend, Milo Yosef is in for, I believe, James Stone, number 9. So the second half is underway here at Shields Field. Fort Wayne FC trying to drive forward quickly. Noe Garcia just trying to make the defender miss there. Unfortunately, the fake by Garcia didn't come off, and the ball rolls out of play for South Bend goal kick.
So Milo Yosef, hot off a Division I NCAA National Championship with Marshall, plays his college ball there. So as you well know, Caleb, they moved that championship to the spring, so that's just within the last couple of weeks knocking off our beloved IU Hoosiers in that championship match.
And I believe, and at least at one time, I know that impacted our roster as well. We had one or two Hoosiers on our roster who couldn't really get here until after the national championship ended.
Well, without naming names, a little quiet conversation in the room next door before today's match about that, wondering how they were able to translate and transfer so quickly, get everybody eligible to play up there in South Bend. So kudos to them for getting that done, but we're still waiting. My understanding is we'll have those influx of IU players later this week, so hopefully be in Fort Wayne FC uniform next Sunday. But that is kind of the nature of this whole league. The rosters are really fluid. We've talked a couple of different aspects of that already today, haven't we, as far as kind of trying to get a good blend and a good mix of folks from all over the country, but also keeping it interesting for the folks here at home by having some of that local flair like Logan Lee and Jose Rodriguez suiting up as well. So it's really trying to check a lot of boxes all at the same time and put the best soccer product on the field that you can.
Shot came off there from number 7 for South Bend. I had the roster pulled up here, but then I've lost it. That was Abraham Dukale for South Bend, and he's caused Fort Wayne quite a bit of trouble out there on that right flank. He's very crafty, he's quick, and as you could tell there, he's able to get shots off quickly. South Bend doing well here, working that ball forward through the midfield. Taking the same tactic that they did in the first half, not rushing the ball, working it around the top of the 18-yard box. Trying to break down that Fort Wayne FC defense that has Looks like 10 men behind the ball. Foul there against Fort Wayne FC. And we talked about free kicks being in a dangerous spot. This is another one that's in a dangerous spot. You're about 25 yards out from goal. I think the wind's at your back, too.
And being dead center of the field as well makes it really difficult to defend. You can't channel the ball in either direction. So.
South Bend's not short of aerial options here. They've got a couple of big players up there, one of which is Joseph, the sub, who just came on. Joe Bowles is wisely getting a large wall set up there. And David Garcia looks like he's the one lining up for the free kick. Although this is one of those situations where it's one or the other. You're dead center. That shot was well over the bar.
So just doing a little additional look here at Milo Yosef. He actually came through the German youth system, being part of the U19 youth program at Borussia Mönchengladbach, and having just spent a few minutes chatting with President co-owner Eric Magner, who hails from Germany. I'm sure he's kind of intrigued by that connection. And Pep
that was a good ball in
Casas,
there by
and Pep
Duty.
Casas, another exciting player coming through that Indiana Tech program. So I'm glad to see him on the pitch. See if he can make some things happen here. Getting himself involved pretty early here in the second half.
And really, you are getting two different players, two different looks from either Logan Lee or Casas. You've got Logan Lee, who is strong, willing to fight, battle, won't shy away from a tackle. And Casas, who is a little bit shiftier, a little bit quicker with his feet, and so a little bit more creative even in that midfield.
And he's always moving. He's always moving. He's flicking balls. He's running two balls. That's what I like. His to your point, they both have lots of energy and lots of positive skill sets, but kind of packaged slightly differently. So. See if Fort Wayne FC can make something of this.
I didn't really see a foul there. Zach Tom weaved his way through one or two South Bend defenders before the foul was eventually called. Oliveira looking to take this free kick. This is a good position for him to just whip it in, try to keep it away from the goalkeeper.
Lots of bodies in there, so let's see if we can. Really nice delivery on that ball, on that restart, in terms of keeping it just far enough away from that goalkeeper not to be able to come out and make a quick grab.
Yeah, and that was
and forcing all the defenders to realign, and unfortunately, no Fort Wayne FC player on the other end of it, but really a good thought.
Fort Wayne FC back on the ball. South Bend pressing a little bit higher in this half with their attack. than maybe in the first half, and
And I'm
probably because of fresh legs.
Well, and I'm a little worried just because you know, our defenders have been just, I hate to keep using the same word, lackadaisical, but they just aren't quite as sharp on that ball as they should be with that high, quick pressure. If they're going to be aggressive defending up in that front line, we need to be quicker moving that ball around.
Yeah, we got a South Bend player down. May have tripped on the turf, just trying to keep that ball in, landing on the track. Looks to be up and okay. But back to the Fort Wayne FC defense, that's something we've noted for the past several games, is that the defense seems to, like you said, lackadaisical at times and not switched on at all points in the game.
Well, and you definitely want to build out of the back and involve them in the move forward. However, to do that, you got to be sharp and you got to be confident and strong on and around the ball. You can't take those loose touches and have those balls that are easily stripped away by those forwards, because those forwards are pretty clever. And you know, striking player, they let's be honest, if they can win that ball 25 yards in front of goal rather than 80 yards away from goal, it's to their every advantage, isn't it? So you got to be on your toes and alert.
Good work by Casas there.
Oh
The
boy,
South
they got
Bend's
numbers
away with the
coming
ball.
forward here.
Good through ball there by South Bend.
Oh, Joe Bowles again.
Big save just on the ends of his studs on his cleats did he make that. And we've got a substitution getting ready to come in for Fort Wayne FC. Grayson Duty is off, being replaced by number 8, Luke Jones. Duty's first shift for Fort Wayne FC. A respectable one, 55 minutes. There were times where he sort of fell out. Good clearance there by Will Harris.
Yeah, I think the dividends for Duty are going to continue to grow as the season progresses. Again, he's only been here in town a few days. Get himself settled in and get to know some of these players around. He showed glimpses of some really, really good things. So I think the next several weeks will tell.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Luke Jones was a defender, but maybe he's playing a bit of everywhere, because Jones is pushed up to the right mid position. Good 1-2 play there by Duclay and Yosef. Those sort of quick flick back heels. Fortunately, Fort Wayne FC was able to step in and break up that play. Not really going to trouble the goalkeeper from that distance, but something to note on that build-up there. There were 4 South Bend attacking players on that back side, and everybody from Fort Wayne FC seemed to be shifted to the near side, and nobody was tracking any of those people on the back side. So that's something those defenders are definitely going to want to pay attention to.
And we've seen that a couple of times already today, haven't we, where they don't seem to be as aware of all the positioning of those attacks. And they had, let's be honest, they had a lot of numbers forward. They had 7 or 8 players in that attack.
Yes.
And so you have to be alert and take account of where every single one of them is, or you're going to end up getting burned on that back side.
Good fight by Luke Jones to win that ball. From the few minutes I've seen of Jones, he doesn't look like he's messing around. He looks like he's ready to battle.
Well, several things maybe behind the scenes on that one is he's been sitting watching for the first 45 minutes, so he's ready to get in there. And I know any player worth their salt doesn't want to be sitting on the sideline watching. They want to be out there. So you have 45 minutes pent up, and the other thing is you are fresher. Your legs are fresher than everyone else out there. So relatively speaking, you should be able to get in and mix it up and make some things happen. So hopefully you can take advantage of that and put something on the scoreboard.
Another throw in here for Fort Wayne FC. Tyler Gaynor just trying to find somebody. Garcia down in the corner.
He was able to make more out of that than it looked like he had, but
that was about
on
his
the
only
other end.
option.
Yeah.
Fort Wayne just working out of the back here. That was a hopeful ball there by Harvey. Just maybe better served. Just trying to play through that middle. He had 3 or 4 South Bend players back and only Garcia to aim for up there. Just taking note of the crowd today. Impressive number. It's Sunday afternoon. It's nice out, so I'm not too surprised, but it's a good number of people here in the crowd.
Well, and I was going to make a note of that, and kudos. I was chatting with Eric at halftime a little bit that we have, historically speaking, the largest number of youth teams playing today. Today's the State Cup Finals day down at Grand Park in Westfield outside of Indianapolis, and we've got both Fort Wayne Sport Club and FC United teams, boys and girls, representing our area in the State Cup Final. So I'm thinking, some of those families are down there supporting them. Maybe they're tuning in, hopefully, to our broadcast, but otherwise might be here as well. I know opening day several weeks back, nearly 3,000 fans here at Shields Field, which was a fantastic debut for the club. And again, we've been fortunate with good match day weather for each of our home games, so that helps.
Pitch number 11, Giancarlo Strozzi.
But I tell you what, even the midweek game we had on the Tuesday evening, albeit the numbers were smaller, still a great positive vibe, a lot of energy, a lot of support for the local side here. So that's a great indication moving forward.
And I know, once again, we're not dating you here, but I know you can remember the Fort Wayne Fever days, and from my memory, crowds were never this big out at Fort Wayne Fever matches.
No, that a lot of reasons behind that, I'm sure, but it just there's so many elements of the first several weeks of this endeavor that bode well for the future in terms of, I spoke with Eric a little bit about that, the collaboration. He's been able to reach out and get folks from every corner of the Fort Wayne soccer community to pull together and be a part of this, whether it's the ball runners or the concession workers or the banner hangers or whatever role folks are playing. They're out here, they're positive, they're enthusiastic about what they can do to make this a success. So there has a real good feel about the whole situation. So I'm confident moving into the future that this can continue to grow, and the time is so right for everything to fall in place. Fort Wayne again has a long and storied soccer history, so I'm anxious to put all those pieces together.
And it's no longer a small community either of people. I mean, back in the day, there were, maybe a couple hundred families involved in soccer across Northeast Indiana, and now thousands of families across Northeast Indiana involved in soccer. So it's no longer a small community.
And you're right. And but you know what? That's a double-edged sword as well, because as you broaden that community, because again, at the risk of giving a specific date, at some point in the fairly distant past, when I was a part of those couple of hundred families, you just don't have it's not as difficult to pull everyone together, and when as you broaden that group, it's just harder and harder to find that middle ground. So who's our man down here?
It looks like Zach Tom who's down, and the referee, you may have missed it in our jabbering here, but the referee did give a yellow card, I believe, to number 5 for South Bend. It looks like similar to their first yellow card, sort of came in studs up, just trying to win that ball. Probably looks like just caught Tom on the leg there. So that's the second yellow card for the South Bend Lions. One in the first half, one in the second half just now. Referee's obviously giving a free kick.
It's a little discouraging. Those sometimes those tackles don't look like much, but boy, they sure are dangerous because, the player on the receiving end is vulnerable, right? He's extending his leg and he's approaching in good faith that you're coming to play the ball straight ahead, and then you come in at a different angle, or you come in with studs up. Really dangerous and potentially can cause a lot of harm. So I'd love to see those eliminated.
So it looks like we've got a Fort Wayne sub lining up right now. Max Emawako.
That's the one
and
we
I have
were
to
hoping for earlier.
And for Tom, the
Zach
man who's
Tom,
just
yep.
down, and I don't know if it's because of he's actually injured, or you just don't want to take that risk of risking further injury to Zach Tom. But Emawako definitely, as we've seen, up to snuff for Fort Wayne FC. He's able to use his skill to make things happen.
Looks like we have a South Bend sub coming in as well.
For the South Bend Lions, number 10, Pedro Golabala. Now on the field, replacing number 7, Abraham Dukuli.
Dulabella for Zakuli. Nice little flick away from Casas there.
And good of Garcia to come back and win that ball, and not just waiting for one of his teammates to try to win that ball and then receive it. That's what you want to see out of your forwards, is to come back and win that ball back.
Absolutely, and again, if he just quietly allows a defensive player to receive possession, now they're moving forward, and we're relocating all the way back in our defensive end. So saved a whole lot of recovery runs there for Fort Wayne. Would have loved to made a little more of that opportunity, but there's
good win there by Emawako.
Getting himself involved in play quickly.
Oh,
boy, that's not off by much.
Yeah, that was a good, quick sequence of play there by Emawako Casas, and then Noe Garcia just trying to swing that ball in, but Rodriguez just a couple steps behind, trying to get a foot on that. And if you're just joining us, this is the St. Joe Derby, the inaugural St. Joe Derby. Fort Wayne FC taking on the South Bend Lions. Currently in the 68th minute of the match, the score stands Fort Wayne FC 1, South Bend 1.
So maybe have to run with that theme a little bit, the St. Joe Derby. Maybe, a canoe-style cup or something that goes to the winning side.
A paddle. Yeah. I think maybe a canoe paddle. And it took me a long time. It took me a long time. I sat on Google the other night saying, like, wait a minute. Like, I know these rivers don't run from St. Joe from South Bend to St. Joe. They actually connect in Hillsdale, Michigan.
Okay.
Is the connection point. So that's how we get the St. Joseph River, which is what the St. Joe Derby is named after, both here in Fort Wayne and in South Bend. That's a good ball in there by Luke Jones. Good run.
Oh, and a good quick
by
strike
Garcia
as well.
South Bend defender just able to step in front of it. corner here now being taken by Jones. That's a dangerous ball there by Jones. Just trying to find Garcia there at the front post.
Did well to keep that alive.
Just over the head of Will Harris. Good fight there by Fort Wayne FC. And a foul off the ball by Milo Yosef. He kicked Breno Oliveira after the ball had been cleared. The referee didn't see it, turned away from the play. Here by South Bend.
Number 3, Brian Silver, replacing number 2, David Doe.
So the off-the-ball foul notwithstanding, a nice attack coming up the right flank for Fort Wayne FC, and Luke Jones in a really good position behind the ball, so playing it back, and just came across his body a little bit too much, pulled it to that outside and missed that far post wide. Probably going to want that touch back, I would think, because he was in really good position. A good strike on the ball, he probably finds the back of the net.
South Bend back in possession here. And it's just starting to get a little bit chippier out there between the two teams. A grab here, a shove there. A cross in by South Bend. They're not able to make anything happen.
Point taken there, Caleb, but I'm thinking, South Bend had a pretty good head start on the chippiness, I'm thinking, because they...
I would not disagree with that.
Remember, Logan Lee took quite a few in that first half, 3, 4, 5 of those kinds of... and that's what leads to the game devolving into this chippiness here is, you sustain 2 or 3 of those and finally say, enough is enough, and then both teams start kind of allowing that to dominate their mindset.
Rodriguez has a good overlap run there by Casas. Unfortunately, South Bend steps in front of it. And South Bend's now coming the other way. Good run there by Yosef.
That's a nice step in from Pep Casas there.
Jones just plays a poor final pass there.
Yeah, right idea. He had Garcia making the run down that right side and just didn't quite get a clean touch.
And as we've seen today, Garcia's been able to beat his defenders. So you get him on the end of one of those balls, and he's to goal. Good ball in by South Bend. Yosef not able to make anything happen from that cross.
Yeah, I was going to say Will Harris is taking a seat here. He uncharacteristically complete miss on that last cross, and then he was kind of holding what appeared to be his hamstring, but I'm not quite sure. He's taking a seat here looking for some medical attention. So now it looks like maybe his lower calf that he's.
And I'm not sure if this is the same leg from early on in the match that was bugging him. But for the second time today, Will Harris down on the ground from what seemed like something innocuous. It didn't seem like there was any contact on there.
When I say uncharacteristically missed entirely, the ball ended up right at the foot of Yosef, but he was clearly anticipating a play from Harris, so he wasn't able to do anything with it. But shortly thereafter, I saw him grab his leg, and so again, whether it was a misstep on the turf or reaching for a ball that he sure is, he's still favoring things pretty gingerly steps here.
And I will say, it looks like Keegan Angevin for Fort Wayne FC is getting sorted down there on the sideline, along with, I believe, that is Luka Glusevich as well, just starting to put tapes on the sock there. So I think that's a sign that both Angevin and Glusevich, and correct me if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, but I think I've got it right, look like they're getting ready to come on for Fort Wayne FC. Angevin definitely is, probably replacing Harris at this point. Still 1-1, 76th minute of the match here at Shields Field. And that's the confirmation. Keegan Angevin in for Will Harris. Harris put in a good shift today. Unfortunately, a couple of hard, big knocks taking him out of the match.
Number 19, Keegan Angevin, replacing number 6, Will Harris. And number 36.
And it looks like Angevin has pushed out to the left, and Joel Harvey now playing a center back position. And Oliveira sitting back a little bit deeper as well. That's something him and I talked about a couple games ago, that, you know, he's one of the older players out there on the field, and his legs aren't as young as some of his other teammates. So that is intentional for him to start sitting back in a deeper position later on in the match.
So it does look like Luka Glusevich is set to come on. I know a week ago, like Duty, sorry, I was drawing a blank. Like Duty had just arrived in Fort Wayne.
Grayson,
so
correct? Grayson Duty?
Grayson, yeah, but
Okay.
Luka just arrived a few days before last Sunday's match and stepped on the field just a few minutes earlier than this, but made some exciting things happen pretty quickly. So see if that can't be the spark that Fort Wayne FC needs to push this one into the win column.
And he's replacing captain Jose Rodriguez.
Luka Glusevich, replacing number 21, Jose Rodriguez.
So I believe that's 5 out of 6 subs for Fort Wayne FC. Last one remaining, Vitor Gomez. And he's been warming up for the past couple of minutes back behind the South Bend Lions goal.
It's a nice.
That was a good battle and win by Oliveira there, and Emawako just not able to get that shot to come off.
Oliveira, a lot of space in that midfield. They can play through him. Lots of opportunities.
Yeah, that's an easy yellow card there for Oliveira. Unfortunately, he took just too big of a touch, and that South Bend player was able to get onto it, and Oliveira tried to come in late with that tackle, and he was just a little bit late on that tackle.
Good patient defending from Fort Wayne there, and South Bend playing some nice combination play coming through the midfield, but
another yellow card for Fort Wayne FC against Garcia. Looks like he just sort of kicked the legs of the defender for South Bend there.
well, although the details slightly different, similar to what happened to Oliveira a moment ago, which is you got out of position defensively, and the only option you leave yourself is to take a whack at it. So,
Yep.
unfortunately. Boy, he's got that nice long stride, doesn't he, Josef? He's a dangerous
That sort of
player coming through that space.
like you said, smooth, long glide, able to take those big touches that stay so close to his feet. He's able to cover a lot of ground quickly, Josef is, for South Bend. Cross in. South Bend not able to do anything with it. It was a good cross into the back post from South Bend. Number 8 for the Lions, Matthew Santiago's just trying to play that ball back across, and it's Santiago again for the goal for South Bend, just sitting right in front of goal, trying to get on the end of that cross, and he makes it count. Head 2-1 in the St. Joe Derby.
Goal for the South Bend Lions is attributed to number 8.
Let's see if we'll get a replay here. And Santiago did well on that header for them as well, putting it at the ground, sort of in an awkward position for the goalkeeper.
Well, he did well to hold his position between the two services. So he was still in a very dangerous position for that second one, and made that one count.
And if you're a Fort Wayne FC defender, you know that's 100% a no-no. You cannot let that player get goal side of you. And unfortunately, that's what happened for Fort Wayne FC. Santiago was able to get goal side and put that header away. So once again, the score is now Fort Wayne FC 1, South Bend Lions 2, currently in the 83rd minute of the match.
Yeah, still plenty of time to get that equalizer. However, boy, just the last few minutes, it feels like Fort Wayne's kind of settling back on their heels a little more than I'd like to see, and South Bend kind of dominating the possession a little more than they had been. Getting more players in the attack and shorter, more combination play sorts of possession. So,
and we've got the final sub for Fort Wayne FC, Vitor Gomez coming in for Tyler Gaynor. Gomez going straight up into the attack. It It looks like perhaps Oliveira going to play a center back position or a more defensive role than what he was already playing.
Fort Wayne FC now on the pitch, number 7, Victor Gomez, replacing number 26, Tyler Gaynor.
And our director, Bill Shaw, about had a heart attack over there. The ball very close to his new shiny camera. Throw in here for South Bend.
Well, the onus is now on Fort Wayne to pick up the pace a little bit. South Bend can just let these balls roll out of play and kind of nonchalantly push it around because they've got the lead. So Fort Wayne has to initiate the rise in pace here if they're going to get the equalizer.
I mean, we've seen it match after match for Fort Wayne FC. They've somehow drawn a point back in the last minutes of the match, so it's definitely not unheard of for them to claw a goal back in the waning minutes.
Absolutely. There is plenty of time. As I say, they need to be a little bit more intentional, perhaps, than they've shown in the last 8 or 10 minutes here. Fort Wayne going with the long ball from Bowles all the way in the back to not much efficacy. That's all an individual effort from Milo Yosef, showing why he was such an instrumental part of that national championship team at Marshall just weeks ago. All but putting a nail in the coffin for Fort Wayne FC here this afternoon. Can feel the wind being drawn out of the sails. Fort Wayne trying to play that long, direct ball, and as a result, finding themselves pretty vulnerable in the back to that quick counterattack. And Yosef did all the rest, did everything he needed to get the ball where it needed to be, and then found that back corner.
A goal for the South Bend Lions, scored by number 15. That is Milo Yosef, and now a substitution for the South Bend Lions. Now on the pitch,
And it's an unfortunate time for South Bend to claw a goal back if you're a Fort Wayne FC fan, because you've only got moments left and you're now 2 behind. And a good ball in once again by South Bend Yosef just able to keep it in play. And they're saying that back and forth. Yosef was offside, so okay.
And you see that often, Caleb, is, you're down by a goal, so you're trying to push forward and kind of leave yourself a little more open at the back than you'd like to. And that quick counter, again, a player of that caliber receiving that ball is he's going to make you pay more often than not, and that's exactly what he did.
So Fort Wayne trying to make something happen now. Emawaka with the ball in the middle. Garcia just trying to turn there. Casas winning the ball back for Fort Wayne FC. It's a good ball in there by Casas to find Emawaka. Low cross right at the goalkeeper. He makes the save comfortably. This is the type of push you probably wanted to see 10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
From Fort Wayne FC. Just a little bit too late.
And certainly not unheard of to get multiple goals in stoppage time, but clearly not the norm.
And 4 minutes of extra time here.
The fact that we all talk extensively about those handful of games where multiple goals scored in stoppage time would certainly lead you to the conclusion that it's a rare occurrence. But you know what? One of the early hallmarks of this club has been playing through to the final whistle. So hopefully they represent themselves well and continue to push and put everything on the pitch.
Yosef on the ball here. Just trying to do something with it. Drops it back. It's a brave shot there. I was just about to note, South Bend still making those wise decisions of working the ball around that 18-yard box. Not always trying to penetrate through, force something to happen. They're trying to create something.
Yeah, they've settled in nicely the last 20 minutes of this match. And, they've, fair to say, they've earned this victory.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't given to them. A bit of a soft penalty kick got them started, but like I say, the last two have been well earned, and certainly not a difficult one for Joe Bowles to handle there, but kind of concerning that the space that we've conceded in the back again on that play.
And it looks like Oliveira just pushing up a little bit into the attack to try to make something happen. He comes away limping. I'm guessing that's probably a muscle cramp at this point in the match. He's played 90 minutes. It's hot out there.
Yeah, grabbing the toe. Telltale sign of the cramp coming on.
South Bend still on the ball down there in the corner. Referee calls it a goal kick. Yellow card given to the South Bend player there just for getting in the way of the goal kick.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. That's a silly antic at this level of play. I would think you're up 3-1 with a minute or so left in this match. Just get yourself back to midfield. And
yeah. Play by Gomez there to find Emawako. shouts for a handball in the box, but it looked like the South Bend player had his arm pinned to the side there. And the referee has given a red card for what?
Clearly something must have been said out of our earshot for that to be an immediate red.
So our statistician next to us, who was paying attention to the off-the-ball shenanigans, is what we'll call them. Apparently, Emawako, after he had passed the ball, and there was that shout for the handball, grabbed a hold of the referee and tried to spin him around. And I mean, you in some leagues you even breathe on the referee wrong, and you're gonna get a red card. But certainly touching him.
Yep, that would clearly be an immediate red.
Yeah, that's unfortunately a stupid red card by Emawako, and he doesn't want.
Yeah, he's not doing himself any favors here at this point either. Just walk off the field.
Coach John Dunn, his coach at Indiana Tech, doing well to just get him off the field.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I called out the South Bend player for some antics there at the far end, and same comment here is, this game is, for all intents and purposes, finished. That's unfortunate. All the good things we've been saying about Emawako and all the good things he adds to this club, there's no room for that at any point. It's got to contain your emotion, and I know a lot of things
even
feed
in a
into
loss.
that. Yeah, and a lot of things feed into that, right? Maybe you've taken a couple of chippy shots, and clearly you're down by 2 goals.
Yeah, and Coach Avery will not be happy about that either. Like you said, there's just no excuse for it.
No, at this level, you gotta be able to control those emotions, and
Thank you for attending the Fort Wayne FC game.
Well, that's the final whistle here from Shields Field. South Bend 3, Fort Wayne FC 1. South Bend coming away victors in the St. Joseph Derby, St. Joe Derby, St. Joe River Derby, whatever we're calling it. We'll still got to nail down an official name here for this, but unfortunately for the home team, not able to take away the win, and they're still behind South Bend in the table now, just ahead of Dayton Dutch Lions, who are at the bottom of the table. Fort Wayne FC currently sitting second bottom, with South Bend just above them. So
yeah, Fort Wayne did some nice things throughout stretches of this match, but unfortunately, I think that final 20 minutes kind of sealed their fate. That they didn't hold the line, and South Bend really had the better of play pretty significantly that final 20, and the final scoreline shows that and reflects it. So again, I think fairly earned, and that's a nice match from them today.
And I think the past couple of games are good. You always want to take lessons from the matches that you lose, but I think there have been a couple of good lessons for Fort Wayne FC to learn, both in this match and the match against Flint City, where they lost 3-0. Hopefully Mike Avery's able to whip that defense into shape, because it seems like they really need to put 90 solid minutes together, 90 switched-on minutes together in order to make something happen.
Yeah, that was clearly one of the weaker spots on the field today in the back. We picked up on that almost immediately, didn't we? That there was a lot of space and a lot of time. And we'll concede a little bit of that because of the quality of the players that South Bend was playing up
Certainly so, yes.
in their front line. But having said that, you just can't give those players as much time and space as they did without paying the price.
Certainly so. Well, I'm not told of any post-match interviews from me, so I think we're going to go ahead and sign off here from Shields Field. Our next match, back at home on June 12th versus FC Indiana here at Shields Field. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll have a live stream of that match as well. You can purchase tickets at www.fortwaynefc.com, and they are also at home the next day as well. I can't remember quite who that opponent is, But we've got there's also a home game on the 13th here at Shields Field, and there'll be a live stream for that. Everybody on the live stream, thank you very much for watching, and that's going to do it for us. See you next time.